Hey everybody here on the Prop Queen Pod, kind of. We've decided to just record for YouTube today. So if you want all your MLB prop edges, this is the place to get it. I'm here, of course, with my great friend, Mid-Major Matt, as always, who unfortunately has been missing some shows recently because of his own show schedule.
Yeah, probably another week or so, and then we'll go back to normal, and I'll be able to join the show live and dispense some more winners for everybody.
Matt was already betting last night on this card because he saw two props that he loved. So let's get to it. You liked Cal Quantrill to go over 200 strikeouts. When you told me this last night, I was so shocked that on Cal Quantrill Day, you took an over. Why?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we had the over the last game against the Angels. I had the over last game against the Angels, and they took him out after 46 pitches because they were concerned about some of his velocity and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of a concern here. But if you look at Cal Quantrill in Miami this season, he had 6 against the Rays, which we know is a lot because the Rays don't strike out a ton against righties. He had 6 against the Dodgers. This is a guy that has some strikeout potential. And if you go back to last year when he was with the Colorado Rockies, he had 5 strikeouts at home in 2 starts against the Giants in Coors Field. That is a lot. Giants are on a long road trip. They were in Washington, then they were in Detroit. Now they're in Miami, so it's a long road trip for San Francisco. They're averaging about 5 strikeouts per game against right-handed starting pitchers and 2.5 with reasonable juice that unfortunately has now disappeared in the market. I'm going to take a shot on our guy, Cal Quantrill, over 2.5 strikeouts.
It's 3.5 in most spots now. Would you take 3.5?
No, definitely not. Look, it's funny how we think this way because, it's only 1 strikeout basic difference, but I just, he's
Hey, listen, this is why you got in last night, because you got a good number and the book knows it was mispriced. That's why it's up to 3.5.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe on DraftKings, it's like 2.5 at minus 182 or something like that. Oh, minus 175. So, I that's a lot of juice for me to swallow for this situation. I just thought, look, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to hope that he goes 5 innings. And I'm going to hope that this road trip is taking a little bit of a toll on the Giants.
Giants 22 overs, 16 unders this year, averaging 5 strikeouts a game against righty starters. I have another starter, Luis Ortiz. He's going up against the Angels, and I know he's not a big household name, but in 2 of the 3 starts that Ortiz had this year against high K rate teams, he's gone over. The one that he didn't was against the Angels. And Matt, when I see that a pitcher didn't do something in start 1 that he probably should have done, that's when I like to go back to it a second time. The Angels, 26 overs, 18 unders when facing righties, averaging 6 strikeouts per game. That is a lot of strikeouts. The Angels are striking out a ton. The Yankees had 8 against Ortiz. The Reds had 7 against Ortiz. This time around, Ortiz should get there, especially pitching at home.
Yeah, my one concern with Ortiz is he is wild. I mean, he had 5 walks last time, which probably hurt how long he stayed in the game. He's had 2 in like 8 straight starts and has 9 of 10 starts. So like my concern is he's a little bit wild, and you've got an Angels team that saw him. Granted, it was back in April, but yeah, I could certainly see it. I will never tell somebody to not take one against the Angels. But like, if you also notice, the one thing that's a little concerning here is, I mean, your guy Clark Schmidt had 4. Cal Quantrill had 2. Severino had 5. We won with Gunnar Hoglund, who had 4. His over was 4.5, but he only had 5. So, like, I'm just worried that maybe they're cooling off a little bit when it comes to strikeouts. Mike Trout is back in the lineup. Maybe he's one less guy that's going to strike out a little bit in this lineup. So that was just kind of the one thing that kind of concerned me a little bit when it came to Luis Ortiz.
That's fair. And honestly, this is a therapy session for me. I haven't bet anything except the one that we agree on yet. So I'm trying to go through this card with you to find out what I like best. But I want the viewer to also know that like this is about you extracting information from this and finding out like which props you like the best from what we describe. So the prop that Matt and I liked, both of us, it's not on my card because we both like it. So I'll leave it on Matt's card, but we both bet this. Matt Liberatore over 4.5 strikeouts, had good value this morning at plus 105. You got it plus 102. Why did you like him?
I mean, this is a guy I've taken a lot this season. It's a guy that I'm pretty sure I've won 2 or 3 times with. He's gotten so much better. Last year, they used him out of the bullpen, and everybody kind of realized, like, he's a really good starter. And not only is he a really good starter, he's going deep in games. If you look at his last couple starts, 7 innings against Arizona, 6 innings against the Royals, 5 1/3 against the Phillies in Philadelphia, 7 innings against the Pirates. So, like, I wouldn't fault anybody if they like his outs in this sort of situation. But when you look at Texas is a team you want to fade against lefties. 11 overs, 3 unders, 6.28 strikeouts per game against them. And you look at some of the lefties, like Ryan Yarbrough had 8. And granted, Ryan Yarbrough is becoming more of a strikeout guy, but like still 8 for him. Kyle Freeland had 5. I mean, that's a lot for a lefty. So this is just one of those situations where I'm getting a great number in terms of the juice, and I'm getting a good number in terms of the actual number for the strikeouts. So yeah, we looked at over 4.5 here.
Great value there. I agree. We both bet it. Matt Liberatore over 4.5 strikeouts. Merrill Kelly was an interesting one for under 4.5 Ks. This really had nothing to do with Kelly himself. It had to do with the fact that he's up against the Nationals, who have gone under 4.5 strikeouts in 8 straight games, and 9 of the last 10, 27 unders, 15 overs, averaging 4 strikeouts, just over 4 strikeouts a game this year when facing these righty starters. This was all a fade for me against the Nationals because they just haven't been striking out so much, Matt.
And I certainly like that. But, you know, Kelly's starting to strike out some people a little bit more. The 6 in St. Louis is impressive. 11 against the Rockies. Like, everybody's getting 11, it feels like. 8 against the Giants, 6 against the Mets. Like, I'm starting to see him strike out a little bit more in terms of, and I'm a little concerned about the West Coast trip for the Nats in terms of, you know, they were just in Seattle. Now they're in Arizona. You know, I hit on Kirby's under back a couple of days ago when it was 5.5 and he only had 4. I could see it. I don't mind it. It's something I certainly wouldn't criticize anybody for. It's just Kelly's getting a little bit better when it comes to strikeouts, and that was a little concerning for me.
Okay, so now let's go to an outs prop because you like Ryan Pepiot over 17.5 outs for the Tampa Bay Rays. Why are you going with it?
Yeah, if you look at Ryan Pepiot this season, I mean, he gives 6 innings almost every time. 4 straight starts, 7 of his last 8, he's gone 6 innings or more, including a start at home against the Astros where he did actually go 6 innings. And if you look at Houston, I mean, look at their numbers against right-handed starting pitchers and how many times they've gone 6 innings or more. And it's not even like there's a ton of great pitchers in this list that are doing it. I mean, Tyler Mahle went 6. Michael Lorenzen went 7 1/3. Michael Wacha went 6 1/3. If you look at the recent trends when it comes to this team against right-handed starting pitchers, everybody's going 6 innings or so. It's very impressive. It almost tells me that the Astros have this approach at the plate. Like, they're swinging at the first best pitch that they can get, and they're getting out a lot too. So I'm going to take the over on the outs here for Ryan Pepiot, a guy who goes long against a team that allows you to go long.
I like it. I like it for Pepiot tonight. I've got a plus money play. I always like to throw one of these in there because I know that everybody likes some plus money. David Peterson over 6.5 strikeouts is at plus 115. Peterson's gone over 6.5 strikeouts in 3 of 5 starts against high K rate lineups, including 3 of 4 at home. He's getting the horrible Rockies. The Rockies, they've allowed 11 overs, 6 unders against lefties, averaging close to 7 strikeouts a game. I mean, 7 of the last 10 lefty starters to face Colorado this month went over this number, including 6 of the last 7. David Peterson's at home. I think it's a great value play at plus 115.
Weather. I mean, that's the only thing that scares me is there's a heavy
chance. It's beautiful out.
I'm just saying, our guy, I'm looking at what Kevin Roth says in terms of the weather report. A few showers around, probably not enough to stop play. Low-ish chance of a delay. You know, it's towards the middle of the game, so maybe you get those 6.5 strikeouts in the first 4 or 5 innings. I might play this if it's still plus money later myself without giving it out, but like the weather was the only thing that kind of prevented me from making this official play. The handicap's spot on. He's a guy who, look at his last 2 home starts, 7 against the Dodgers, 7 against the Pirates, 9 against the Cardinals earlier this season. He's a guy who takes advantage of this sort of thing. So I like the play. I want to make sure the radar a little bit closer to first pitch.
That's fine. I know you love your weather. Last one, you finally like an under because you know if you didn't give out an under on this card that all of the quote unquote people who think they're sharps would come at you and say that you're Joe Public. So anyway, I'm just joking. We know that Matt is as sharp as they come, but You need to have an under on the card. Mitch Keller under 4.5 Ks. Why are you laying the juice?
Because Keller saw the Padres at home earlier, had 3 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's gone over this a lot. I mean, he has certainly done so. But if you notice the lower K rate teams, he had 3 against the Guardians. He had 3 against the Nationals. He had 4 in Miami, which is a little bit of a concern. And the Padres are a high contact team, 4.07 strikeouts per game against right-handed starting pitchers. The last 2 had 0. Sandy Alcantara and Max Meyer had 0 strikeouts against the San Diego Padres. Now, granted, they lasted 7 1/3 innings combined, but like anytime I can get somebody who has 0 strikeouts, it looks like they're better at home too when it comes to the contact. Like if you go back to their previous homestand, Wu had 5, which is low for him. Hancock had 3. Logan Evans had 3. So like I'm going to play the opportunity here to have an under with Mitch Keller in San Diego against a Padres team that makes more contact at home. Last year, Keller had only 2 strikeouts in San Diego as well. So we'll take a shot on his under. And I wanted to make sure to get it last night because I figured that a lot of people would jump on it. And the juice is about the same right now. So you're not doing much worse or better than I am in that one.
Yeah, anything against the Padres is an under or nothing for me. Mitch Keller on the road. Again, he scared me a little because he had 6 against the Dodgers. I also get a little worried that he already went under against San Diego this season. Those are always those things when it's like within the month of each other, he just faced them. Is he going to have a better outing this time? But I would never bet an over against the Padres. It's under or nothing when you bet against San Diego, for sure.
Yeah, certainly. And this is a team that, when you look at our records, I mean, I'm 5-3 so far in Padres games, and Padres K-Prop. So it's something that maybe I'm seeing this team a little well.
My last one is Dodgers righty Tony Gonsolin over 4.5 Ks. He's getting the Yankees. Gonsolin, 2 of 3 starts this year. He went over 4.5 strikeouts. Both were against the Miami Marlins, but he had 9 strikeouts and 8 strikeouts. The Angels had 3, but again, 2 of 3 ain't bad. The Yankees are averaging just over 5 strikeouts a game against righties. In the last 10 games, 7 right-handers went over 4.5 against the Bronx Bombers. They're on a West Coast road trip as well. I don't mind this for a late night game of 4.5 to the over for Gonsolin.
So I looked at his over 4.5 hits allowed with the Yankees, but my concern, once again, much like Luis Ortiz, Gonsolin's all over the place. 3 walks last time in New York, 5 walks at home against the Angels. He had 2 walks against the Diamondbacks and 2 against the Marlins in his second start. Like ever since he hasn't faced anybody other than Miami, he just hasn't been as good. Now, the one thing that might work in your favor is with the guys behind him in terms of the starting pitchers, Landon Knack and Yamamoto, he might have to go a little bit longer to kind of help the bullpen a little bit here. But I'm concerned because he's walking more people than striking people out. I might have looked at his over walks, but it was 2.5. And the Yankees do draw a lot of walks, which is something that might be make things interesting if Gonsolin is all over the place. But he just hasn't been the same against any team outside of Miami. So that's why I was a little bit concerned here and looked at either the hits allowed over or the walks allowed over for Gonsolin.
If you're like Ron Washington, you just continue to walk Aaron Judge. So there's all your walks right there. Mid-Major Matt, I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and looking at all your MLB prop edges for today. We'll be back on the Prop Queen Pod Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.